start with the do's. Let's start with the positives. I'm a cup half I was going to say half empty. I'm a cup half full girl, and I like to focus on positives first because I think it starts with the right mindset. So the do's. Okay, so do. And this one is probably the most important of all of the do's. Do pivot your focus and your messaging. The content that you've created even 2 weeks ago, before this pandemic really, it really took a hold of the world, that content is highly likely to be irrelevant now. I watched a home workout video this morning, and it was from an incredible fitness expert, and she posts a new workout every single day. Now, she's obviously spent a lot of time on the workout because it was a long one that she did this morning, and it was posted this morning at 5 a.m. And she didn't once mention the outbreak, which is sort of fine, but she does talk a lot about nutrition, and I feel like looking after ourselves and nutrition is incredibly important, even more so today as we're all stuck indoors. We can't go out much, we can't get much exercise, all the things that we know that actually looking after our immunity and eating well is vital. Anyway, so this video popped up today. It's the first one that I've done of her since the lockdown, and not only did she not mention the outbreak, but she also talked about getting ready for summer and getting hitting our fitness goals or whatever they are and all of that kind of stuff. And it was so it just jarred with me. It jarred with me because I thought it's obvious that she filmed this ages ago and is now putting it out there, which, okay, that's fine, but you need to go back in there, and even if it's just rough and really heavy-handed, just overlay it with little messages and little updates, because it's not, in my mind, it's not in tune with what people need right now. They want to be working out at home and doing those things, but they need her support in how to do that. And putting out videos that were created whenever, it's just not chiming. Okay, so do you see what I mean? So you really need to look at your new launches that you're coming up, the messaging that you're putting out in the world, the campaigns that you have planned. And really, there's a word that all marketers are using at the moment, and it's pivot. Basically, turn around, turn on them, put your foot down, turn, because it's unlikely, as I say, that you were prepared for this, because none of the world was. So you need to pivot, and you need to pivot fast. Don't sit around too long. We're still in the adjustment phase. You've got a little bit more leeway, but brands, big and small, have to pivot their messaging. If that does mean re-editing stuff that you had planned and you're able to do it, even in a clunky way, it doesn't matter, because people won't mind that. But if it isn't relevant, don't put it out there. Put it aside for when, another day. It could be a couple of months down the line, you can reuse and repurpose that content. But right now, please, for the sake of your brand health and the equity that you have in your brand, push it to one side for now, because all content that you are creating today and henceforth for the foreseeable future is against the backdrop of the outbreak, and you need to be thoughtful and mindful of that at all times. Okay, now is definitely the time, another do, to focus on communicating your core values. All brands have them. It's what makes you you, what you believe in, why you do it, and why you are there for your customer. If your core value, one of your core values, is kindness, then you should be communicating and showing how that value is being upheld now. Maybe it's because you are, let's say, you are giving all your staff, I don't know, I can't think now because I'm on the spot. Maybe it's you're giving all your staff some free meditation lessons that they can do at home, or you will pay for them all to learn a skill while they're at home, and they can pay for some online classes or whatever. If your key value is also kindness, it could be that you're donating products to your local food bank, or that you're creating cooking, if you're a food brand, that you're cooking meals and dropping them off to the local elderly people's home because they're in lockdown and they're lonely. Do you see what I mean? When whatever your values are, whatever your company is built on, now is the opportunity to bring them to the fore and really show how you are putting those values into practice, how you are bringing them to life. Okay, so another very important do is your tone of voice. Having a positive and reassuring tone of voice is what people need right now. They don't need to be scared even more than perhaps they are already. They don't need more anxiety. They don't need negative news. They don't need to know that, that they're going to age if they look at their screens too much when they're at home, because what else are they supposed to be doing? We can't go out much. A lot of people don't have back gardens. So there's obviously going to be people using their screens a lot. And if you're putting out messaging that's all about how looking at a screen too much creates blue light that makes you age, then that's going to come across as completely out of tune with what people need to hear from you right now. What they need is they need positivity, what you're doing to help the world, what you're doing to help your customers and your staff through this time. And they also need reassurance, because we will come out of this the other side, and you want them to be there for you when we do. So make sure that you keep that tone of voice very upbeat as much as you can, and give them give them a safe place, a safe place where they feel looked after. It's super important. Another really important do is to really show how you are looking after your staff. I had a courier come to drop off some products for beauty banks a couple of days ago, and he had said to me how much he used to love Subway, the sandwich shop, but he'd noticed when he was driving through the city the day before, when all the stores were shut and all the offices were shut and there was no one around, it was like a ghost town, Subway was still open. And he said to me, I am never shopping in Subway again. They're not looking after their staff. They're putting their staff at risk. I used to love that brand. I can't believe they're behaving like this. This is how people feel. This is the temperature check of the nation and of the globe. They want to know that you are looking after your staff, obviously, if you have them. Even people in your supply chain, if you usually use a stationer and, you're finding it hard to afford to pay for them at the moment, maybe you come up with some kind of longer term payment deal or something, I don't know, but look after the people who usually look after you in your business, and show and tell how you are looking after them, what extra measures you are taking, what extra how extra helpful you are being to your staff, because it really is what people are looking for at the moment. People are fearful, they're fearful of their jobs, but they're also worried about other people losing their jobs as well. So really do think about how you communicate that message in a really authentic and thoughtful way. Maybe it's actually that you don't communicate it. Maybe it's that your staff communicate it, because they will be the ones that will be able to communicate it authentically. But just something incredibly important for you to think about.